Hi, this is Little Dwarf playing games while rambling incoherently into the microphone. Why? Well, just because I can, and I continue with Deus Ex Human Revolution Blind. Now, last time I cleared this room, but I haven't explored it, so I want to go around and see what I can find in this space. Cardboard boxes. They seem to be fans of those. Some diagrams I can't exactly read. Today I'm up with the... I can't read that. Boredom? The symbolic boredom? Not quite sure what that says. Okay, can't read any of the books. Oh, tranquilizer darts. I'm definitely going to take those. As I only had one left, which would be quite difficult to manage with. Now, I'll try to limit taking other people's stuff, as long as those other people aren't people that have previously tried to directly kill me. At this point, I feel that they no longer deserve the common courtesy of humankind. Like, if they try to kill me, then appropriating their stuff is the least I can do to them if I'm not going to kill them, and I'm not going to because I want to play non-lethally as long as I can. Although that makes me wonder, how plausible would a playthrough be where you try to, act 100% reasonable as you would in real life, like, don't break any laws, for example. So basically you only take stuff that you are given or that you buy, and you don't go rummaging through people's stuff and private emails and whatever, because that's not exactly legal or nice. I wonder how far you could get. Like, for example, in Deus Ex 1 you pretty much couldn't finish the game because, after all, like from a legal standpoint, UNATCO was the police and NSF were the terrorists, so at half point of the game you basically switched allegiance and you, at least in the eyes of the public view, became the terrorist. Obviously the distinction is very difficult to make in a setting such as Deus Ex's, because after all, like, UNATCO and FEMA had such great power that opposing them through legal means was pretty much impossible, I would imagine. But that's just a random shower thought. Stun gun darts, yeah, I'm going to take those. Now, I do not have the stun gun yet, but I imagine I'm going to acquire it at some point. Now, this also kind of makes me wonder, why is there ammunition strewn around this factory here? That doesn't strike me as too realistic, because like all those tranquilizer darts can't be the property of the Purity First guys, because they've already shown that they don't have too many compunctions about killing people, so why would they stuff their pockets with non-lethal ammunition? And if it belongs to the factory workers, then that's also kind of weird, because I would imagine it's not exactly legal to carry ammunition and weapons into your workplace if you work at a factory, although maybe it's different in the future, but it's still kind of weird. Okay, those same books that everybody seems to have, the freaking electric system loss is apparently a worldwide bestseller or something like that. There's a book by Charles Darwin, his most famous book. Now, I think I've searched them all. I also want to hack all the computers. I do have some of the passwords gathered from the terrorist. Already read that about the overtime. That's from Pritchard. Higher standards. Do not allow others to enter the facility using your employee card. Do not ask people to meet you inside the building. Do not play shareware games during your lunch hour. Now, I actually know people that theoretically work a full-time job at an office space, but like roughly half of their work time is actually playing games in such a way that their boss doesn't notice. I wonder how common that is overall. Okay, I don't have a code for this, so I guess it's hacking time, and I probably should spend some time trying to actually understand how this works, because I imagine I'm going to be doing that for the rest of the game, so I'm trying to get to here. And now I initially imagined that to be detected I need to strike a system that's directly connected to this, but apparently that's not the case, because if you click there is a detection chance. For example, this has detection 0. You can also fortify your starting position, but that can lead to detection on its own. Now, what's the purpose of this? Well, it's not like I have a choice anyway. I do have those one-use viruses, but I think I'm going to save them for like a crucial situation. For example, if I need to disable a bomb or some crucial thing relating to a quest, rather than a simple employee's computer. Okay, so capture this. So it makes certain nodes more difficult to hack and certain nodes easier. What is this? Detection 100. I guess I need to... I'm still not sure on the rules of capturing the endpoint. Like, do I need both of the adjacent ones to capture this, or is only one? It's capture 0 detection chance, so I guess I can take this. Yeah, and I guess I can take this immediately now. So it seems I only need one, provided there is like a link. But I'm still curious about what this does, so I think I'm going to take it. I should have enough time to hack this in the meantime anyway, when I start getting detected. So let's try getting this.
Access granted.
Okay, so I guess it held one of those one-use viruses that I now get for later on. Okay, so they've been doing some work on the schedules for the Typhoon project, although now that makes me kind of suspicious, because I have this theory that they had an insider, the Purity First guys had an insider that helped them get inside the facility, because after all, it should have been difficult. There were all those talks about heightened security measures, Pritchard reminding everyone to be careful. And also, there was something about the guy in the last episode that was hacking into the mainframe using the neural augmentation, and that was also kind of suspicious, because why would a Purity First group why would they have an augmented guy on their team? Like, that's not even disregarding the fact. Disregarding their personal opinions, they might very well be hypocrites. it just isn't a good optic, because if you go around telling people that augmentation is sinful and that we should all oppose it, and then one of your own guys is discovered to be an augmented one, then that just dilutes your argument, you know. That makes you look like a hypocrite and like someone who doesn't really believe what you say you believe. I must admit, I have no idea what a gnat is. I don't know that word. I'm not even sure if that's a real. Maybe that's some kind of a futuristic pest. But I have no idea. Like, funnily enough, in Polish, gnat is like a colloquial, kind of archaic term for bones. But that's besides the point. Okay, I think I've searched them all. Read this. Okay, no code found, so I guess it's hacking time again. I still don't entirely get it, but now at least I understand that this usually holds some kind of a valuable. So it's 60% on both of them, so I guess I just go along and hope I have enough time. But how would I... Ah, wait. Quick. I think I screwed it. Or something.
Access denied.
Can I retry that? Okay, that's a little bit inconvenient, but I guess I can go through the rest of them in the meantime. I just need to remember that I have one of those unhacked. I still don't exactly get it, which I know that makes me an idiot, right? Because it's supposed to be pretty easy, I assume. But I just not exactly certain on how all of those relate to each other. 60, so it doesn't really matter that much. There was no secondary
Access granted.
there was no secondary different thing, like a virus to download or anything, so theater tickets. So just some fluff, I guess. I'm not sure what sort of deeper meaning am I supposed to gather from the fact that one of the guys at the factory is interested in theater. Already read that. Annual barbecue, another year sober. So one of the I guess one of the employees is a recovering alcoholic. Okay, no code for this one either. So I should probably try to get this one, because there is presumably something there, but... Ah, but this will not allow me to get this, I think. It'll send me here. So I imagine I'm supposed to go through this? But how? Ah, okay, so I don't really get it. After this, nothing else left.
Access granted.
So did I just steal somebody's money or what? reset experience. Reward downloads complete. Credits, yeah. Damn it, I didn't want to do that, but I can't... I don't think I can check what the node contains before I get to it. So that's a little bit inconvenient. Already read that about the final push, and already read that about the overtime. So I guess maybe now I can return to this and try to hack it again. I still don't exactly get it, which I'm certainly embarrassed about it, but I'm not sure what I can do other than keep trying, and eventually I will see all of the connections. Okay, so I want to get in here, but the last time I couldn't. I guess I need to capture both this time, because last time I think I captured one and it didn't work, so I guess I will just go into the both directions.
Access granted.
Ah, right, so I guess what I was supposed to do was hack the lower one first, then access this, and then hack the other one to end the sequence, but I hacked them both at the same time, so it ended before I had the chance to access this. That shouldn't be too big of a problem. Okay, I already read that. Done that as well, right? Yeah. That's ammunition. Okay, that's straight up weird. Like, why is it here? Why is there a machine pistol ammo hidden behind a random cardboard box? Like, if this belongs to the terrorists, to the Purity First guys, then why would they hide it out of the way to inconvenience themselves? And if it belongs to the employees themselves, then first of all, that isn't exactly the most intelligent way to hide items you shouldn't have at your workplace, because I can imagine, for example, like somebody who's cleaning the office as is evidence that is something that was happening with this mob over here. I could very well see someone moving this box at some point or another, and then they would discover it. So that doesn't make a lot of sense to me, and I'm kind of weirded out by this, because it feels very gamey, right? Like, it feels like a stark reminder that I am in fact inside of a game and not inside of an actual living world, which is a little annoying, because I would have thought that in this day and age we're sort of past it. Like, developers usually try and succeed in various degrees in creating this illusion that the world is actually a place that could exist, that it has, sensible layouts of the buildings and rooms, and like there are toilets for the employees and whatever. But here there are just some things that are kind of weird. Okay, there's somebody's money. I'm not going to take that.
Augmentation's illegal. Why, my cousin Tootie just got one the other day. Not for long, fuck knob. Not if this UN resolution goes through. Not with the Bilderbergs, the Council of Five, and the Trilateral Commission making the rules. You can add Humanity Front to that list, because they're the ones with their evil overlord Bill Taggart, who disguises himself as a healer of the sick. They're the ones who are pushing for this resolution. This is all by design, followers. They're gonna drop a police state on your ass faster than you can say fucking, I don't know, neuropazine. But I digress.
Okay, I want to listen to the beginning of that as well, as I sort of dropped on it in the middle. Is it even going to repeat? I was under the impression that most of them do repeat. Okay, maybe I should be doing something else. No code for this one either. Oh, wait.
We're talking augmentations, and how by not allowing us to have them, they are essentially stripping our ability to defend ourselves away from us. Now, followers, don't stream me now and start saying, "But Lazarus, augmentations are legal. Why, my cousin Tootie just got one the other day." Not for long, fuck knob. Not if this UN resolution goes through.
So I guess I didn't miss much. He's talking about the access to augmentation and how I guess he's worried about how the people that are unaugmented are going to be at a disadvantage against a future police state, or maybe the other way around actually, that the people that are augmented are going to be easier to control because of some hidden switches or something, which is something that definitely exists in this universe. It was actually a big plot point in Deus Ex 1, and I wonder if something similar is going to happen in this one as well. After all, Jensen is very heavily augmented. He pretty much nearly died, and I imagine half of his freaking intestines are augmented at this point. So I wonder if something similar to the situation in Deus Ex 1 will also happen in this game. Now, I would be kind of disappointed in that because it would feel recycled, but on the other hand, it's definitely an interesting plot point, and there's definitely more than you can do with it compared to Deus Ex 1, and you can make some variations on that plot point and still make it interesting. So I guess I should keep my eye out for that. Now let's try this one again. Okay, so I want to get here, but again, I don't think I can. I don't. But maybe I can get there through here. Wait, where am I? That's the start point. I am just an idiot again. I'm a little bit tired. Okay, so let's take this.
Access granted.
Okay, so I've got another one of those one-time use things. Already read that about the theater. I think I read that. Yeah, manufacturing standards. Yeah, I read that already too. I didn't read that. So apparently somebody inside the facility is worried about how the typhoon system might be utilized. Now, I wasn't really thinking about it, but I guess he's kind of right. Like, if you're a lone wolf type of attacker, then having this kind of equipment would let you wreak unbelievable havoc, you know, having a 360 scope and throwing all those grenades around. But then again, I guess, first of all, it's probably restricted to the military. After all, there has been a huge deal so far in the plot about the typhoon being a trade secret. and the Sarif Industries didn't want to, the police even, to find out about it. And second of all, I think if you have enough money and enough influence and enough connections to acquire such a dangerous and innovative technology, then you're probably capable of destroying people's lives in much more indirect ways than just a terrorist attack. So I wouldn't worry about this particular scenario. Okay. G. Thorpe, that's, I think, the husband of the manager, right? Josie is the manager, and read that. New shipment. Cart of merchandise stopped by S. Surat. Not quite sure how is that supposed to help me. I guess maybe later on, when I'm out on the streets, I can maybe look for this guy, and that lets me know that he's some kind of dealer of stuff, although it doesn't even say what kind of merchandise that is. I guess this is talking about that other guy that had an idea on how to improve the production, and I guess they agreed to that. Okay, I have a passport for that. Already read that. Yeah, they're talking about how they are hoping the improvement is big enough for the HQ to notice. This is about some game on the TV that some of them wanted to watch together. I am really glad I managed to save the hostages. I guess what role the emails might serve is a way to humanize them, you know. They had their own hobbies and their own plans, and if you fail to save them, then after you read, for example, that they were planning a date or you know, some activity with their friends, you're supposed to feel more guilty about it then.
Access granted.
And of course, it's besides that, it's also simply world building. Services has been restored. Oh, that's definitely interesting, because that seems to tie in with my theory that they had like inside help, or maybe not inside, but like they had, because obviously they had to get inside the facility somehow, and there was a breach in the IT network, so I'm pretty sure that is relevant. Already read that about the security measures. Okay, no special directories here.
Access granted.
Already read that, and already read that. I'm still not sure what a gnat is, if it's even a real thing. If it is, then I know that that lack of knowledge is a little bit embarrassing for me, but please remember that English is not my first language, so if there's some kind of a more obscure and less used word, then I might not actually know that it's a real word. Okay. Nothing here. Nothing on my radar either. I should be paying more attention to the radar. It's so relatively small and out of the way that half of the time I don't quite notice it, which I know is a huge flaw in my approach, because after all, especially when playing on the highest difficulty and especially when playing non-lethally, I should be planning all of my attacks ahead of time and try to stay undetected. But, oh well. Anything I can... Okay, I can read something here. Artificial Muscles by Hugh Darrow again. Now this Darrow guy has appeared a couple of times already, in text obviously. I haven't met him. Unless he's a character from Deus Ex 1 that I just don't remember, but if he were there, then he must have been like a minor character. I must admit, this doesn't mean that much to me. Like, there is a lot of jargon in this, and a lot of scientific terms being thrown around, but basically it's talking about the improvements in prosthetics, because apparently in contrast to like today's prosthetics where you have a fully mechanical, for example, limb or something connected to actual living nervous system and it lets you move it, but the actual limb is still a machine. They are talking about actual artificial muscles, so I guess it can be understood in a couple of ways, because at first I was thinking about artificial muscles in a sense that they are organic muscles but produced artificially, but it might very well be like they're talking about fully plastic actuators and voltage and whatever, so it might very well be that they are actually talking about a simulated, like a mechanical muscle, just better than the organic one. And that's beside the point. It's mostly fluff, I guess. I doubt this contains any plot critical information. More diagrams tell me nothing. There is still this. Today I came up with the symbol boredom. Not sure what that means. Well,
don't lie to me. I don't want to hurt you. You're a civilian. But I will if you don't give me a choice.
If you didn't want to hurt anyone, you should have stayed home tonight.
Oh, look! Sarif's attack dog! You're here to clean up before the police bust in?
He thinks we're breaking the law.
Shut up! All you body polluters break laws. You're all the same.
You're gonna have a hard time convincing people you're any different once they hear you had an AUG on your team.
What?
I found your attack dog in the factoring labs, trying to cut through security with his implanted hackware.
Nice try, Cholo. But I would never let one of you freaks on my crew. Ah! Back off, Hunter! I got business to take care of, understand? If what you say is true, and I'm not saying it is, you hear? But I gotta check things out. So, mi la vieja, we're leaving.
well, I don't think so, actually. Although, that makes me wonder, if there are windows in this room, and I'm pretty sure there are, why haven't they like sent a sniper drone or something to shoot him? Like, I'm pretty sure even in today's technology, well, maybe they wouldn't use a drone, but like an actual sharpshooter, that would be possible. And to do that, they wouldn't need to enter the building, so that wouldn't break the order from Sarif that forbids them from getting inside until I hide the typhoon. But anyway, I definitely want to try and free the hostage.
You know I can't let you go with her.
Stand down, Hanser! I told you, stand down or this bitch is dead!
Bullshit. You're bigger than that. You don't kill civilians.
Damn right! I'm a decorated vet, and I won't be jerked around. I need to find out who's behind this, and right now the boss lady's my only ticket out of here.
Listen to me. Whatever's going on, it's big. You've got a better chance of getting to the bottom of it if you work with me, but I can't do a thing until you let her go.
Are you stupid? I don't work with augs.
Well, that isn't...
God, you must think I'm some kind of moron. And who can blame you? Because it's exactly what it must look like to everyone right now. Trapped in here by the cops, and my only option is to take a hostage. How screwed up is that?
Okay, this is definitely not a good idea. I probably shouldn't antagonize and insult an armed person that's holding a hostage. This is a decent option. I think this is the best because it reminds him, like, he seems to be pretty proud of the fact that he's...
Nothing else to say!
Oh freak, that startled me. Apparently there's a time limit or something. I'll choose this.
You're doing better than you think. You're still standing, and that's more than the hacker was expecting. You said you're a vet, so I know you've got the balls to handle this. You don't need the civilian to get you out of here.
You got a good point there, but still, I've got to exploit my advantage. And as long as I hold on to this lady here, you and the cops will be way too scared to come near me. Face it, you got outmaneuvered.
Again, insulting him is not a good idea. I wanted to remind him that he's a veteran because it seems he's pretty proud of that, and he seems somewhat conflicted about the fact that he had to take a hostage. We'll get their attention. Yeah, I guess this is a good option. Like, and I truly believe that's actually true up to a point, because if he has the hostage...
Nothing else to say!
Okay, that startled me again. Apparently, I'm worried there's a time limit to choosing the options, which I guess makes sense because you can't be standing here when he has a hostage for like 10 hours debating your choices.
The cops will be looking after civilians. They're too busy to worry about you. But if something happens to her, you will get their attention. Their priorities will shift, and all you'll accomplish is getting yourself killed.
I know all that, damn it! One of your kind tricked my brother into manipulating me, and I have to make sure that they get what all can openers deserve. I'm not wasting any more of my time arguing with you. Out of my way, freak!
Again, this doesn't strike me as a particularly wise option. Okay, so I'll explain my choices and what I think about the conversation later because I don't want the supposed alleged time limit to run out.
Listen, the hacker's plan was for you to die. He knew there would be civilians here tonight. He thought of everything. He used your brother because he knew you would trust him. That's how well he knows you. He expected you to take a hostage, just like he knew the cops would kill you for it.
You're right. Damn! You know, he even asked me once about hostages. I told him I would if I had to. I thought I had to here, but I can't afford to, can I? Go on, get out of here. You're free to go. I did what you wanted, so let me go. I got Blade here too, I say.
I've got as much interest in finding out who's really behind this as you do, cabron.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll owe you one. But I promise you this, someone's gonna pay.
Adam, what's happening? What's your situation? Adam!
Sanders is gone, boss. But I'm pretty sure he's just a dupe. Somebody else set this up.
Damn it. Okay, I want you back here now. The admin building has a rooftop terrace. Meet Faridah on it.
Copy. Jensen out.
Okay, so first of all, I'm kind of weirded out with how easily he got out, because he left and then right after the police came from here, and apparently they are all around, so how did he evade them? Like, that doesn't make sense to me, and I guess the conclusion isn't ideal, because it would be best if we caught him, but given the circumstances, I'm pretty pleased with how it played out, because given the choice between catching him and letting the hostage die, I would always prioritize the life of the hostages, so I'm really glad that I managed to save them all. Now, I don't quite get the exact setup of this, because they were talking about a couple of things there during the conversation that somehow I think elude me, because the Sanders guy, the Purity First leader, was talking about how he himself was sort of duped or deceived, and something about a hacker, but he didn't. And his brother, which totally flew over my head. I don't know which one of those was his brother, but he didn't explain anything about the augmented guy on his team, well, apparently on his team anyway, and I am sort of confused with that, but what I think sort of went down is that, because I've read, I think in one of the emails earlier on, or in one of the messages that I picked up from the terrorists' bodies, that they were surprised that there were people here, that they thought the facility would be empty, and that they just wanted to get some material to show on the television about, I guess they wanted to find some illegal experiments or something, to disgrace Sarif. But then it turned out that it was actually full of people, and they were somewhat surprised by that. So I guess what happened is that their informant, the one that set it up, the one that gave them access to the facility. Now, Jensen here was even talking about a hacker, which, am I supposed to assume that was the guy with the cyberware implants that was hacking the computer, that then killed himself? But he killed himself, he was clearly compelled to do this, so presumably there is some other guy completely who was controlling him through the wire, and he made them do it. But anyway, what I think happened is that the hacker actually deceived them, because he told them that nobody would be here and they could gather the evidence in peace. But then it turned out that all of the people were working overtime, so the facility was stacked, and Sanders was surprised by that and dismayed by that, because at least I'm not quite sure about most of his supporters, but he seemed to be mostly conflicted about the need of taking a hostage, and he seemed kind of iffy about actually killing people. He seemed more like someone who was backed into a corner, and he thought he didn't have a choice. And they were also talking about how the hacker wanted Sanders to get killed. So there's definitely someone getting played here, but it might very well be me. I don't exactly have the full picture in my head yet, but I guess it might very well be intended, because after all it's only the beginning of the game, and Sanders was talking about how he owes me one, so I imagine I'll see him later on in the game and maybe get to the bottom of it. Now let's talk to the hostage.
Are you alright?
I'm fine. Just a little shaken up, but what about the other hostages? My husband was with them in one of the assembly labs, and I overheard talk about a bomb.
Don't worry, they're safe.
Oh, thank God. When those men surprised us. Mr. Jensen, they should not have been able to get in. With the typhoon being moved in and all, I double-checked the protocols myself.
Yeah, I expect Pritchard's doing the same thing right now. Stay here. DPD will want to question you. But you and your husband should be reunited soon.
Thank you, Mr. Jensen. You're a hero.
Yeah, I'm really glad about how this worked out. I think only one person died. One of the regular workers that the Purity First guys killed in one of the halls. I'm not sure if I could have saved him or if it was a scripted sequence, but overall it definitely could have been worse, and I'm overall happy with how it went down.
I thought that maniac was going to kill me. I hope you did the right thing letting him go like that.
Well, that wasn't exactly my plan. I just wanted to save you.
Way to secure the terrorist leader, Jensen. Now the bastard's free to spread his lies and cause more trouble.
Yeah, but at least none of the people died, so...
Jensen? You're the guy who was sent in before us? Those hostages owe you a lot. Nice going.
Yeah, this guy gets it. Okay, I know, again, it's kind of rude to look through people's computers, but I definitely want to do that just to get the full picture of the situation. China boy? Okay, so I have the password for what I imagine is hers, her computer, which that's actually awfully rude and kind of creepy in a way to see the person that has just saved your life is currently hacking through your private correspondence and reading your freaking emails. I'm not sure what an alphabet agency is. Is that slang for something? Or like a code name? I'm not familiar with this expression. Yeah, so it's basically about the urgent situation at Sarif and about how it was very important for them to finish the research and the production on that. That's a Nigerian scammer email. It's good to see that those are still a thing in the future. Apparently it's addressed directly to the CEO. Well, that wasn't... reading her emails wasn't even that interesting. There was just this email from Sarif about the production, which didn't really tell me anything I didn't already know, and then the scammer's email.
You son of a bitch! Give it everything you got!
Okay, that's the most limp attempt I've seen at knocking down a door. Is this guy like a new guy? Are they hazing him? Or is he just a noob? And apart from that, at this point, why is it even necessary? Why is it even necessary to break down the door? Like, I've rescued all of the hostages and all of the attackers are unconscious, so you could very well just ask the employees for the key to this door and then get in.
You Sarah's boy? What the hell happened in there? I thought you were supposed to handle the situation.
Well, I did. and I am actually quite happy with how it went down.
I can't believe they made us wait out here while the leader of these assholes got away. Who knows what he'll do now?
Yeah, but it's kind of your fault. Like, sure, I kind of let him go, but you're all around here, so how did he literally left through this door, so... And there's a helipad right here.
The target is on lockdown. I can't let anyone in.
But my wife, she's still in there. I need to know that she's okay.
You'll have to wait until the building is secure. Now back up and let the SWAT team do their job, please.
Ah, that's Josie Thorpe's husband, right? The one I saved earlier with the bomb.
My wife, is she all right?
She's fine. A little shaken up, though. SWAT will need to debrief her, but you'll see her soon.
I don't know what to say. I think I've given up on her. You're a true hero, man. I'll find some way to repay this, I swear.
There's no need for that. I was just doing my job.
Don't be modest. I didn't recognize you before, but I know who you are, Mr. Jensen. And I know you weren't supposed to be back at work yet. Thank God you are. I'll be in touch. Count on it.
Oh, I was actually wondering about that earlier. How they didn't recognize me even though I worked with them. But I guess maybe it's because of the augmentations. After all, they are quite extensive. And maybe they weren't even expecting Jensen to be back at work because, as this guy said, he was still supposed to be on leave.
Seriously, I can't thank you enough.
Yeah, that overall went quite well, I must say. Only one guy died, and I'm not even sure if I could have saved him. He might very well have been like a cutscene casualty. Now, I think I got another... Yeah, Praxis 2. So, I think I'm going to take this, just because it very much plays into my preferred playstyle of persuading people, you know, talking people down, diffusing dangerous situations through diplomacy. I'll read more about it first. That's very cool. It's like a device that lets you hone in on the very minute details of somebody's body language to, for example, determine if they are lying. You know, their eyes twitching, or you know, the corners of their mouth moving, or something. That's very interesting. The system can deliver real-time data, enabling them to correctly interpret responses and draw the desired result from face-to-face conversations. Okay, I'll definitely buy that. Ah, and I guess it automatically gives me this emotional intelligence enhancer. Let's see more information. Yeah, blush response, pupil dilation. That's very cool. Like, because those are things that you can notice some of them using your actual eyes, but it's very difficult to pick up on. So it's interesting to see how this technology allows you to like hone in on those very minute details. But there is apparently also a pheromones propagator, which seems kind of like a dirty tactic, if you ask me. Like this, although I guess to a point, this is also kind of dirty, because pretty much no one is expecting you to pick up on things like pupil dilation in real time. But apparently I can use pheromones to influence people based on their personality type. I'm curious to see how this will play out in practice. So I guess that's all of the conversation upgrades I can get. Okay, so let's talk to Faridah and
you made a lot
back.
of people happy tonight, Jensen. And not just the men in suits.
It's what they pay me for.
No. They pay you to put corporate interests ahead of people. You found a way to satisfy everyone. Guess Dr. Reed was telling the truth about you.
Megan? What are you talking about, Malik?
Before you were hired. She said the papers were lying about Mexican Town. That you weren't fired from the force. You quit when you realized protect and serve had become protect and serve the corporate interest. Nice to see she was right. You ready to go?
Interesting. So apparently there's some kind of a controversy surrounding Jensen's retirement from SWAT. I'm sure we're going to learn more about that as the game goes along. Now, I'm still not sure, on the other hand, what has happened to Megan. Like, is she dead? Did they kidnap her? Like, she's not around, obviously. So maybe she left the facility due to trauma or something like that. I'm sure I'm going to learn that as well. Well, let's go. I think I covered everything there is to do here.
Yeah, get me out of here, Malik.
Your wish is my command. Climb in. New orders just in, Jensen. The boss wants Pritchard to examine the Typhoon ASAP.
Copy that. Thanks for the lift.
No problem. Hey, and Jensen, I just wanted to say, new look suits you. Like, you haven't missed a beat at all.
Thanks.
So, how's it feel? Being augmented?
Excuse me?
Don't take it the wrong way. I mean, I've got a few neuro enhancements myself. Discreet ones to help me fly better. But I chose to get them implanted. You didn't. Now that you had a chance to try them out, what do you think?
That's a good question. Like, it's difficult for me to really... Like, I'm actually incidentally familiar with the very famous Jensen line, "I didn't ask for this," because it's borderline a meme. So even though I haven't played this game, I knew that. I wonder how would he feel. Like, obviously he didn't choose it, that's true, and it was after a traumatic event, but you must admit it isn't exactly the end of the world what happened to him. Like, he's fully able, he's even more able physically than he was before. He can do crazy stuff, and he can manage by himself. He doesn't need, like, to be at a hospital or to be cared for. He can do everything himself, and some of the things he can actually do better than he did before. So how would he feel about that? Like, that's not sure. Okay, I'm definitely not going to choose that. I actually quite like the pilot. She made a good impression on me, so I'll try to stay friendly with her. Yeah, and another point I wanted to talk about, actually, like, it's pretty weird to me how sleek and elegant Jensen's augmentations look, because this is supposed to be a prequel to Deus Ex 1, and a good chunk of, like, the background plot of Deus Ex 1 was this sort of conflict between the older augmented agents and the newer improved ones, and the older ones were getting sort of phased out because they were out of date, and there was a lot of angst regarding that. For example, Gunter Herman, he literally, like, there was a scene, I think he read in a journal or something, about him crying at night in his room. I think because of pain, and that could be physical pain, I think, dealing with his augmentations, but maybe also emotional pain. And that really made me sad, but it doesn't really gel, like, it doesn't really make sense, because if anything, if Jensen, because Jensen is like one of the prototypes for the whole augmentation thing, so he should look more like Gunter Herman and Anna Navarre did, you know, those older types of augmented people. And there should be a lot more, like, then the answer to this question would be a lot easier, because after all, if you had a traumatic accident and then they replaced your freaking head with a toaster, because like Gunter Herman, for example, he looked really scary, he looked ugly, he looked misshapen, he had those giant red like light bulbs or something for his eyes, so I could definitely imagine that being traumatic and that being you know, something that you would feel a lot of anger and a lot of sadness over. But to be honest, this, like, sure, it was a traumatic event, you know, getting almost killed, but this doesn't strike me as the worst thing that could have happened to a man. Like, imagine, even without the augmentations, even if he survived, he would have been bound to a bed for the rest of his life, and that would certainly be a you know, difficult, sad, and anger-worthy situation. But this isn't really that bad, I think. So I'm not sure which way I'm going to play him. If I want to play him as someone who's not really cool with that, or as someone who appreciates it. I think I'm going to choose this.
You're right. I didn't choose to get augmented. And I still don't know if I would have if given the choice. But today felt good. Surprisingly good.
Dr. Reed said you'd take to them. Said it was in your genes. Just be careful, okay? A lot of people think there's a reason the human body rejects this technology over time.
I didn't peg you for the type who gets caught up in metaphysical debates, Malik.
I'm not. I told you myself, I've got neuro enhancements. I'm just saying the choices we do get to make inevitably have consequences.
Yeah. Tell that to the bastard who did this to me.
I hear you. And you know what? You're not the only person in this place who wants to find him. So if I can help in any way, all you gotta do is ask.
Actually, okay, let's talk. As I said, I quite like her, so it would be good to get to know her better.
Actually, there is something. I want to know about the first attack.
Fine. Ask away.
I've been thinking about why they attacked. What they were really after.
Isn't it obvious? They didn't want us going to Washington.
No, that was just timing. Hearings can be rescheduled. Somebody else can present Megan's findings.
I don't think so, Jensen. They took out her whole team. Declan Faraday, Vasily Savchenko, Nia Colvin, even Eric Koss. The labs their bodies were found in.
We're burned to a crisp. I know.
The only reason you weren't caught in the fire was because that retaining wall came down. Saved your life, believe it or not.
So the whole attack was just to destroy Megan's research.
Sure looks that way. Mr. Sarif is hoping to reconstruct it, but it may take months. If he can keep us solvent that long.
Did anyone else see them? The men who attacked?
Not well enough to get a description. Pritchard got some fuzzy images off one of the Intellicams, but his tapes were all confiscated by Homeland Security.
Homeland? I heard Homicide passed it over to Special Investigations. Detroit Special Investigations.
They did, for the first month. After that, all I really know is the case is still pending, and Mr. Sarif is not pleased.
You were there that night. What do you remember about it?
That it was chaos. First, everybody figured there'd been some kind of accident, but Pritchard couldn't get a good visual and communications were haywire. Then we heard the explosions. By the time anyone knew it had hit us...
They were gone.
Whoever they were good, Jensen. Special training good.
Okay.
I'm gonna find him, Malik. One way or another.
I believe you. And just so you know, when you do, I've got your back.
I appreciate that, Malik, but right now...
You've got to get the Typhoon into the tech lab, right. See you later then. Oh, and Jensen, the boss wants a face-to-face debrief in his office once it's secure.
Roger that. Good night, Malik.
Okay, so I was hoping I get back at this location, and I imagine I will spend most or even all of the next episode thoroughly exploring this building, but for now that's enough for this one, so I'm going to save, and that's all for this one. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!